Now, in my humble collection of 9 motorcycles, the one I've owned since brand new, that I've owned the longest, and that I have the most miles on, actually it's over 80,000 now on 2 different speedometers. That bike is the GS1100E. It's a 1982. I bought it brand new from Westwood Suzuki, and I have nothing but great memories for 43 years. The bike has the original paint, and it's held up well. I've done some little restoration parts of it. I've polished out the motor, and over the years, it has just been a wonderful bike. I've gone on many, many long rides to Lake George and beyond. And now, I'm 80 years old. I carefully pre-flight the bike for every ride, and I just try to enjoy what a great bike it is. Now, over the 43 years I've owned a bike, it's actually been several bikes to me. When I bought it brand new, I just treasured the fact that it was just, to me, a beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. Had tremendous power. It was probably one of the fastest bikes of that era, maybe the fastest, if you count drag racing in. And my goal was right in the beginning, I wanted to go on some long rides now that I had a new bike, and Lake George was the destination of choice for many, many years, and I enjoyed this bike, the touring on it, and that's one of the reasons it has so many miles on it. And that seat, the seat is so comfortable on a long ride, and they rated it not only as a comfortable bike, but as one of the most comfortable seats in all of motorcycling, and I think they were right. The fact that it had a great range was very convenient when I was going on long trips. But again, this bike has been many bikes over the years. It's not just one bike, and it's been the same experience for 43 years. It's gone from being that brand new bike that I enjoyed going on weekend rides with friends, and the memories are unbelievable. And at some point in time, it became other bikes. Now, and I'll explain that as I go along here, but it started off being just the absolute best bike up to that point that I had ever ridden, period. Now, some of the things I remember about this bike in the 80s, and it was all about drag racing back then. It was all about every magazine, what ET it turned. And I remember, I might be wrong about this, but it was one of the first bikes that turned in the 11s right off the showroom floor. Maybe not, but it didn't even matter, because that was a time of my life when I was interested in drag racing. And we would go to the drags. I never took this bike to the drags and did a run with it. But I had other bikes. I had a 350 RD that was set up like a drag bike, and other things that were just a lot of fun about drag racing. But I never took this bike to the drags. Maybe I will someday when it gets old. When it gets old, it's 43 years old now. I don't think so. But I've always had that interest. And since the time we've been interacting with Jim Skinner, who's a drag racer, and he has 3 GSs, we actually enjoyed our day at the drags, and it brought back a lot of good memories, actually memories of this bike, and driving up there with the bike and watching everybody do their thing. But back in that day, it was so different. The bikes were all not covered with plastic, and you had to look at that motor. When you walk up to the bike, the first thing you see is the motor. You don't see a bunch of plastic parts. You see a motor, and you see an exhaust system that's chromed. It's not, just ordinary metal. A lot of things about the bike that I think make it an iconic beautiful machine. Modern people probably don't agree with that, and younger people, of course. But when you grew up and were a motorcyclist in this time of motorcycle development, these bikes were getting faster every year, and they were bikes you could work on. You didn't need a lot of electronic gizmos to work on it. You could go buy the big bore kit or buy this smooth bore carbs or whatever, or go take your bike up to Pops Yoshimura and have him do some work on it. It was a whole different world than it is now. And it's for people my age. I'm 80 years old. People that lived through this era, I'm sure they never ever forget it. It was a very, very special time to be alive as a motorcyclist. Now, even going to the meetups like Bike and Breakfast, any other ones, and like Rutt's Hut, it's always amazing to me how many people, when they see the bike, or even my bike, or any bike of this era, it just brings back a flood of great memories of a wonderful time to be alive. I also remember, just as clear as a bell, many of my friends that own GSs would put the 4-into-1 exhaust on as the first mod, and then something else, and then something else, and then the cafe seat or something else. Everybody was trying to modify the bikes and turn them into something that was very custom. Somehow I avoided the temptation. Many times I would be thinking, I'd see another bike and the guy would have engine mods and pod filters and God almighty, every big bore kits. And I always thought, you know what, I love this bike so much, I wanted to keep it relatively stock, thinking that if I keep it stock, I'll definitely get 100,000 miles out of the engine. I've already got over 80, so that might have been a smart move. The exhaust system, I had made a set of carbon fiber mufflers for this bike that they lasted, I think, 5, 6 years, 7 years, and I had them on for quite a while. They were a little bit rumblier than what I liked. But then my late friend Frank Straub, gave me the 86. This is an exhaust, the whole exhaust from the engine back, from an 86. And when I put it on, I love the sound when you back off the gas. It's a little bit more rumbly. The stock system is a little bit too quiet for me, but it's all in the ear of the beholder anyway. But this, now I had little choice things over the years, over 43 years that I've done to the bike. The exhaust system, probably one of the ones that made the bike a lot more fun to ride, made it a little more unique, has that little bit of rumbly sound that I like without being offensive. And some of the 4-into-1s, I know it had the removable baffle, and I think some of the people never even once had the baffle in. But that was a time in motorcycling when you kind of could get away with things like that. Nowadays, really not so much. And over the years, I've made several other little mods like painting the wheels, getting EBC rotors. I upgraded the brake lines, the steel brake lines on the bike. Thank you, Joe Padula, among other things. And there's a lot of little details all throughout the bike that too numerous to mention. Polishing the engine. The video that we have out on the channel of polishing the engine, it's a very popular video. I guess a lot of people that have modern bikes where you don't even see the engine could care less about it. But if you have this era of bike, you know you can see the engine. You can see everything. It's not covered by flat black plastic. It tends to look exactly like what I think a motorcycle should look like. And is every part of it, even and Karen, she's a trained artist. She loved the color of this bike from day one. She just loved the color. And in the beginning, the choices were, when I bought the bike, you could have red or this champagne color. And I know somebody that actually has one champagne, and he'll know who he is. One champagne and one red. I think he lives in California or Georgia. Hey, congratulations. I wish I had a red one too. But over the years, the bike has stood the test of time. To me, the day I bought it and today, it's still a very beautiful motorcycle. It's compelling to look at it and see all the little details, all the little things that you don't notice on a modern bike when there's a big fairing just covering everything up. This bike, I've tried to keep the parts of its stock that I thought would identify it as a GS1100E, and yet all the little custom parts, like the polishing and like some of the things, the foot peg carriers and stuff that I've polished, and of course painting the wheels. A major job painting the wheels on this bike. I have two sets of wheels. I have one set of gold wheels and one set of black wheels. When I have the champagne bodywork on, I like to have the black wheels on. I just think it looks really traditional. And I have the whole set of West Cooley bodywork and the gold wheels as another choice. Now, the nice thing about having an evil twin, especially a GS evil twin, I have the ability to, within actually in less than one day, swap out all the bodywork, put on the custom one-of-a-kind West Cooley bodywork, and that's not something like the original West Cooley ones were from Suzuki. This is a unique one-of-a-kind, and the gold wheels, I think that the West Cooley bodywork and the gold wheels go together well. That's a nice combination. And over the years, I've tried to change the bike up a little bit here and there and everywhere. But no matter how you have the body work, it is just a beautifully styled, I don't know how to describe it. I don't think in my lifetime it's ever going to go out of style. I think it's a great bike for long trips, like when I first got it. It's a great bike to just get out and get some exercise on, like what I'm doing now at 80 years old. And this bike has been part of my life. It's been part of my life for more than half of my life. That's a hard concept for a lot of people in a world of disposable things, or people that buy a new bike every year. It's a hard concept for people to have. But once you have it, and once you understand what it is, you'll understand why I have, in my own way, such a passion for this bike. Now let's get back to the farm. And my congratulations to all the people, all of my friends that have kept the legend of the GS1100E alive by keeping their bikes in great condition, keeping them even restored, even better than new condition, and riding them. It's nice to have a museum piece, it's nice to have a show bike, but to me, I like to have a bike that I can jump on any day of the week, no matter what the weather is. I can ride out on the back roads, I can ride out on the highways. I can maybe even, in my wildest dream, relive some of those wonderful memories of when the bike was brand new. But even at 80,000 miles, 43 years later, this bike might be, very well could be, the best single investment. And I've made a lot of investments. The best one I've ever made in my whole life. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. and thanks everyone for watching.